Good morning, everyone. Morning. Hi, happy fall. Yay, welcome. So I'm really excited to be here and start a whole academic year with you all. I know that when I started in January, it kind of felt like I was getting onto a freeway, trying to merge on and get, somewhat situated. There was a lot happening, so I was very nervous, but today I feel calm and excited to be a part of the Fullerton College community. Thank you so much. And for everyone who's joining us on streaming on YouTube, hello. My name is Dr. Cynthia Olivo, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Fall 2023 Convocation. I would like to start by inviting our student trustee, if she is here, Chloe Serrano. I hadn't seen Chloe today. Okay, as we get started with this, I wanted to make sure to include our student voice and also the voice of our faculty. And our ethnic studies faculty members have created a land acknowledgement. And I would like for our practice to always be when we have important gatherings that we include our land acknowledgement. So we're going to begin with this today. Fullerton College is located on the unceded ancestral lands shared by the Gabrieleño, Tongva, and Quiche Nation, and the Huahaneño Band of Mission Indians, Achamin Nation, who have been the traditional caretakers since time immemorial. Tongva, Achamin, and Quiche peoples maintain a strong presence in North Orange County and throughout Southern California, protecting their homelands, knowledge systems, and cultures for the next 7 generations. We acknowledge the ingenuity, survival, resilience, and strength of their descendants and relatives, past, present, and emerging. We also acknowledge the labor of those who work on and care for these lands, both in the past and today, and all those who act in solidarity with Indigenous struggles. It is important to remind ourselves of the legacy of our lands as we continue to make Fullerton College a place of possibility for generations to come. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. I would now like to acknowledge and thank a few of our North Orange County Community College District leaders and special guests who have joined us today. First, our Vice President of our NOCC Board of Trustees, Evangelina Rosales. Our Secretary of NOCCD Board of Trustees, Trustee Jeff Brown. Our student trustee, Chloe Serrano. Our chancellor, Dr. Byron D. Cliff Breland. Our vice president of instruction, Dr. Jose Ramon Nunez. Our vice president of student services, Dr. Gilbert Contreras. Our interim Vice President of Administrative Services, Henry Hua. Our NOCE President, Valentina Pertel. Happy 50th anniversary to NOCE. Our Vice Chancellor of Finance and Facilities, Fred Williams. District Director of Public and Government Affairs, Kai Stearns. and all-around great leader, Alvarecinos. And a warm welcome to all of our associated student leaders, faculty, classified professionals, and administrators. It is my pleasure to now introduce our NOCCCD Trustees Vice President, Evangelina Rosales.
Hello, everyone that's here and everyone that's streaming as well. Welcome. So I want to welcome all our faculty, staff, administrators. Dr. Olivo, welcome to this new year. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is with great pleasure that we extend a warm welcome to each of you as we begin this new year. We are honored to have the opportunity to thank you for your commitment to our institution's mission and vision. The journey ahead will present its challenges, achievements, but we continue to thrive through your collaborative spirit and determination. Your contributions, whether in the classroom, administration, and everything that's done at Fullerton College, all of the roles that are making this institution move forward are essential components mixed into the very essence of Fullerton College. I've had the honor to be here as a student, a faculty, and now serving as your board member. As we navigate this year together, let us remain committed to fostering an inclusive and vibrant educational experience for our students. Let us continue to create a safe and inspiring space where ideas are nurtured and where the potential of every individual is recognized and celebrated. We are honored to work alongside of you, and we are excited to witness the collective impact that we will make in the lives of our students and our local community. Let us continue to elevate Fullerton to the new heights of excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Rosales. And now I am pleased to introduce our Chancellor, Dr. Byron D. Cliff Breland.
Thank you so much, Dr. Levo, and good morning, Fullerton College. Good morning. Everybody's kind of here. Those are the folks streaming are louder. All right. But it's wonderful to see you all, and I'm certainly humbled and deeply honored to be the chancellor of this remarkable district, consisting, of course, of 3 campuses, a district office, and a most caring community we call the North Orange County Community College District. It is indeed my privilege to welcome you to a new academic year. And I want to take a moment to give a special welcome to all of the new staff here with us this morning. I know you'll be acknowledged later, but if you are brand new, if you just kind of raise your hand or stand if you're able so we can acknowledge the new people. We know you're here. I met a couple of you at the breakfast. Welcome. Now, in all the years I spent on a campus as a college president, the fall semester has always felt like a fresh start. The beginning of another academic year is a perfect opportunity to once again remind ourselves of what it is we need to do to maximize the critical role of our district. Certainly as one of the major catalysts for social and economic vibrancy and upward mobility across Orange County, and the state of California, Our district is one of the most effective and impactful partners Orange and LA counties have for growing the economy and certainly for the development of the workforce. Thank you for what you do each and every day, semester after semester, to support our students and the communities we serve. This microphone is not cooperating. It's going to keep on going. Look at that. I just stand like this. Now, we know our students face challenges inside and outside of the classroom, and I deeply appreciate the extra mile that you go to ensure their success. As we continue to make a commitment to our students and the community, we continue to face a number of challenges. According to Education Advisory Board, there are 6 trends impacting community college enrollment in 2023. These 6 trends will have long-term impacts on how community colleges interact with students and getting ahead of them now will position us for success, certainly in the future. The 6 trends are increased competition for enrollment, capitalizing on dual enrollment, a focus on student success, a shift toward stackable credentials, a shrinking talent market, and the rise of micro-credentials. So while I'm thrilled to welcome you all back to campus for another exciting year, we know the task at hand, and the solutions to these aforementioned challenges require not only bold vision and confidence in our approach, but more importantly, some elbow work. As we begin this new academic year, I want to take a moment to recognize some of the incredible accomplishments that Fullerton College has achieved just over the past year. First, I want to congratulate Fullerton College on obtaining a number of grants and at a very rapid pace. This is a testament to the hard work and dedication of the faculty, staff, and administrative team. Some of the examples of these grants include a new grant from ECMC Foundation in partnership with the USC Race and Equity Center. The grant is titled Take Off and supports our students, specifically for men of color. And I want to also mention that a recent grant was received in partnership with Dr. Gina Garcia in order to support Fullerton College through the Student Experience Research Network to support transformational work of community college HSIs. And finally, just about a month ago, Fullerton College was awarded a National Science Foundation grant to establish a bachelor's degree program in drones for just under $350,000. So let's give a great big applause for all the great work, and thank you to everybody for all that you've done to recognize Fullerton College and the value that it has to bring in this money. I know it will continue to come, again, to support these great programs for our students. And Fullerton College has always been committed to providing a supportive and nurturing environment for students. This is affirmed by the many awards Fullerton College has received over the years on their student success efforts. In addition, I want to commend you for taking the final steps in establishing a one-stop welcome center this summer. Thirdly, I'm excited to hear that Fullerton College will be playing its first home football game in 113 years. I understand that this has been a work in progress for more than 20 years, and we are thrilled to finally see it come to fruition on this first Saturday in September, which promises to be something very special in the history of Fullerton College. And I'm also very proud of our district's accomplishments with our more competitive salaries and healthcare benefits. In fact, we remain one of the few districts in the state that have agreed on a program to approve full healthcare benefits for our adjunct faculty. And with the support and guidance of our Board of Trustees, we're committed to ensuring that our faculty and staff are well taken care of so that you can all do the necessary work to make sure that our students are successful. We also continue to move forward with remote work options and have developed remote hybrid work guidelines to assist in our efforts in these areas. Let's face it, the future of work is hybrid, non-traditional, and focuses on equity and inclusion. While we continue to offer remote and hybrid work options for most of our employees, at the same time, we've achieved increases in our enrollment. Overall, we are trending in the right direction. In addition, we will be doing a refresh of our educational and facilities master plan over the next semester, which will allow everyone to become a part of the conversation as we plan for the future of work in our district, as well as the future of education. I also want to announce that shortly we will be putting out a request for everyone to enter the inaugural NOCCCD Online Teaching and Learning Best Practices Competition, which aims to solicit the district's best thinking and practice in ongoing student success in the online environment. And thanks to our sponsors, there will be fairly healthy cash prizes for the winners of the symposium. More to come. For the first time in the history of the district, this year we will have a winter intersession. This intersession will be offered entirely online and will provide access to critical courses for our students to reach their educational goals. This is an exciting opportunity for students to both access and or get ahead in their educational studies. Finally, I'm pleased to report that we are fiscally solvent. We know that the hold harmless and emergency funds will go away in the near future, and we are hard at work to position the district to absorb this blow. As such, our budget and overall fiscal management from the board and the management team has been strong and is prepared to take on this impending challenge. I'm excited about the progress that Fullerton College has made over the past year and look forward to another successful year ahead. In closing, this upcoming year, I look forward to continuing to get to know even more of you. Please attend the Chancellor's Connect events that we will have this fall. I always enjoy the dialogue and the ideas that you bring. And please feel free to invite me to any event or program that you would like, as it continues to expose me to the great and caring work that you all are doing across this fantastic campus. Together, let's continue to make education more diverse in the ways we teach and the ways students learn. And let's make our district a place where hardworking faculty and staff and administrators can feel appreciated and nurtured in their professional growth as we continue to become the destination district. Once again, thank you for all your efforts. Fullerton College has always been a place of possibility. I'm confident and excited about the work and our collective work, about the future and our collective work, as I wish you all a successful and fulfilling year. And I also want to thank Dr. Levo for her tremendous caring leadership as we welcome her back to the stage. She's been working tirelessly for this campus since she set foot at the college on campus. I know she was driving around the freeway, she mentioned earlier on her first day, but she knows exactly where you are. She's always known where her compass is in terms of being supportive, especially to our students. And so I want to welcome you to your first convocation and thank you for being here and for being a tremendous leader. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. And thank you to the staff backstage who have a Beyonce fan for me. I love it. Really thankful. You're awesome. Thank you, Dr. Breland. We have amazing leaders throughout the district and campus. And it is now my pleasure to introduce to you a really, really treasured colleague that I've come to know over the past 8 months that I've been here. Please help me welcome and thank our Classified Senate President, Nicole Crockram. You're going to do great.
All right, I'm back. Let's just make sure this is working. This is round 3, so it's almost knockout time. I'm gonna maybe stand right here. For most of you who were here last fall, you know exactly what that means. So this is round 3 for me. Good morning, esteemed faculty, fellow administrators, and our cherished classified professionals. It's truly an honor to stand before you once again since our last meeting in January. I'm reminded of a little joke, because you guys know how I love to do the little jokes. What is the difference between a teacher and a train? If you know the answer, please don't say anything. A teacher says, "Spit that gum out," and a train says, "Choo, choo, choo." While we might not be trains, we certainly have the task of leading the tracks to transgressions, the positive kind, of course. Drawing inspiration from bell hooks, teaching to transgress, we're urged to see education as a practice of freedom. We're not just support staff, faculty, or administrators. We are the heart and soul of this institution, enablers of possibilities. Every interaction, every strategy, it's part of a larger commitment to nurture a space where students not just learn, but flourish. From the moment they step onto this campus to the day they decide to move on. I am reminded how on an ongoing basis, the International Student Center team go above and beyond their duties, staying after hours, after their shift, ensuring that every international student feel welcomed. This is not just about enrollment. This is about creating a home away from home. That's the place of possibility. And I do know that these instances and these interactions take place in several other areas on our campus, like the VRC, the Transfer Center, Tutoring Center, Umoja. And for this, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for putting our students first and creating the space. Bell Hooks emphasizes the role of self-actualization in learning, stating that one of the most subversive institutions available to us is the possibility of education. We see this in the actions, and we see this in the mentorship programs that are available, like the Promise Peer Mentors, the Puente program, the California Cousins Mentor program, and so many more. These programs have championed the spirit of not just academic guidance, but self-empowerment, showcasing the potential of our students as change makers. Hook's vision of creating a beloved community is alive and thriving here at our hive here at Fullerton College. She writes, "Beloved community is formed not by eradication of difference, but by its affirmation." Our vibrant celebrations of Lunar New Year, Juneteenth, Progress Pride, Dia de los Muertos aren't mere events. They stand as a testament to our affirmation of diverse identities and cultural legacies. However, with pride in our accomplishments comes introspection. Are we pushing ourselves? Are we pushing ourselves enough? Do we practice what we preach, or are we just content in our routines? It's easy to get lost in the routine. Sometimes I have to decide in my morning, am I going to have coffee or tea? By the way, I usually choose coffee because it brews a lot of possibilities. Thank you again for that, Starbucks. All jests aside, every moment we spend in this institution, we should be driven by intent. An intent to be more, to offer more, to foster more. The idea isn't to just transgress, but to transgress with purpose, with passion. Sustaining ourselves is crucial, and to sustain, we need to engage, not just with curriculum, but with the very soul of what we're trying to achieve. As we move forward, let's promise ourselves to be transgressors of the most positive kind, to create an environment where every student feels seen, heard, and understood, to be collaborators in an ecosystem that thrives on mutual respect, curiosity, and growth. Let's ensure that our actions align with our words. Let's foster a place of possibility for us, for our students, and for future generations that walk onto this campus. Thank you. And together, let's make Fullerton College the beacon of possibilities it deserves to be.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And I would like to point out the picture where we have Marwin and Keisha, everyone all decked out in Fullerton Pride. Just so you know, I was sitting at home here in Fullerton, and I got a text message from my previous staff who said, "OMG, your staff here won the award for Best Spirit at the Classified Statewide Conference." Great job. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of our classified staff across the campus. I also would like to say just thank you so much for embracing this theme that I was inspired by Dr. Regina Stanback Stroud to implement. And it comes from this book that I read around 22 years ago that was introduced to me during my PhD program by Dr. Jose Moreno, who happens to be the president of a local community organization called Los Amigos. So thank you so much for bringing those beautiful that textbook to life. Next, I would like to introduce another incredible leader. She's so amazing, and this week I had the honor of meeting with her outside of her current role in support of our forensics program. Please help me welcome our Faculty Senate President, Jeanette Rodriguez.
Hello, and welcome to the beginning of the fall semester. It is still really hard for me to believe and process that I'm here in this capacity this morning. So I want to first start off by expressing my gratitude and to thank you all for your belief in my leadership. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jeanette Rodriguez, and you all have probably received many emails from me asking you to please join a committee or something along those lines, various times. When Dr. Olivo informed me about the theme for this convocation event, I instantly thought of a dicho, or a refrain my parents often shared with me. Cada cabeza es su mundo. Roughly translated, it means every head is its own world. It sounds so much better in Spanish, but it's just true. But it means that we all have our differences in approaches, ideology, and even pedagogy. And it means that the possibility for innovation and change exists here on our campus. This dicho encourages us to be open-minded and open to listening to different perspectives and to think of the spaces we enter as those of radical possibility. I also think about the fantastic educators who mentored me and planted seeds that have come to fruition. And through this experience, I learned that every classroom is its own world and place of possibility. In your own way, you are creating an experience for our students, introducing them to a new perspective on the past, a new language to think through, a new framework to better make sense of their lived experience, a new world. We are working together to develop future leaders, activists, community members who come to us because they see Fullerton College as a place of hope, a place of opportunity. Whether we are their first choice or their second chance, they leave us with the world of possibility at their fingertips. As I learned about the experience and resistance movements of my ancestors, it led me to the dicho that is directly correlated with my pedagogical purpose, and that is, otro mundo es posible, one that some of you may be familiar with, roughly translated to another world is possible. I invite you this semester to embark on a journey toward world making and renewal and imagine what Fullerton College can be. Perhaps it can be a place where we work together to dismantle oppressive institutional structures in order to achieve educational justice. I invite you to get involved and join conversations on the new direction that our college is taking. And I hope that you all have a great semester. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Rodriguez, for your remarks. And I love that dicho, otro mundo es posible. Another world is possible. I believe that comes from the Zapatista movement. And, thank you. That was very inspiring. I would like to say that my first 8 months at Fullerton College have really come and gone in the blink of an eye. And in that time, I have seen the life-changing work that you all do to support, nurture, and prepare our students for education and their careers beyond our college. As we begin a new year, I encourage you to open your hearts and your minds to the theme, Place of Possibility, because Fullerton College is just that. And guess what? All the people here make this possible. I would also like to welcome all of our new employees. And so I asked for my team to gather all the names of our new staff members. If you are here, please stand. This is our classified staff, and here are our managers, and my first two full-time tenure-track faculty hires, Dr. Rosie Carr and Dr. Anita Juarez. We have so many new Hornets, there needs to be 2 slides. I look forward to continuing to get to know each of you and working together throughout the year. Also, a testament to our college is that when folks join the Fullerton College family, they tend to stay for a while. This academic year, 80 Fullerton College employees will get a service pin for anniversaries spanning 5 to 35 years. Please give everyone a round of applause. Collectively, they have given 1,205 years to better the lives of our students. Now, I'm pretty sure, Dr. Alberta Butin, are you here? Jim McCamey, are you here? I am pretty sure they must have been only 12 years old when they were first hired. I just want to say congratulations on all of you that are celebrating your work anniversaries. I know this year for me, it's my quinceañera, working in community colleges, my 15th year. Thank you. I was tempted to wear a big ball gown today, but you know. If you missed picking up your service pin this morning at the breakfast, you will receive your service pin in inner office mail. Thank you so much. I also would like to say it's been very exciting for me to lead this college and all of you and ask that you please pursue grants and grant opportunities. We have secured many grants that will help our college create these specialized, equity-focused, and research-based programs. I would like to thank our immediate past professional learning coordinator, Jean Costello, who successfully obtained a highly competitive grant for culturally responsive pedagogy and practices for $300,000, which Cynthia Guardado will implement this year. And I'm going to be meeting with my tocaya, Cynthia, next week so that we can make sure we're on track to have a successful implementation of that grant. Fullerton College is also among only 15 community colleges across the entire country that were awarded the Takeoff Grant, Innovations for Men of Color by the USC Race and Equity Center. And the grant will provide us with $75,000 to advance our program to support men of color. Would members of our Men of Color team please stand? I also want to thank Jennifer Merchant for preparing that grant and working with me on that, and congratulate her on being accepted to her doctoral program at Cal State Fullerton. I also want to thank our Fullerton College Drone Lab and our faculty member, Jay Seidel. We meet once a month to discuss our incredible program. And this month, actually in July, our state chancellor, Sonia Christian, featured our drone program in her blog. And Jay, thank you so much for working hard on our $345,000 NSF grant so that we can continue making progress in our program. And you know, Jay mentioned to me that we have a first responder program for our students here in Fullerton, and I do see the drones flying up at night, and I'm like, are they watching me? No, they're not. Thank you so much, Jay, for your incredible leadership. Let's give it up for Jay. And we received amazing news last week, which I talked to Jeanette about. We are the recipient of the Student Experience Research Network grant to work with Dr. Gina Ann Garcia. And she has written 3 books, and they introduce the concept called servingness, which helps colleges that are labeled Hispanic serving institutions to go beyond simply enrolling to truly serving our Latina, Latino, and Latinx students. So thank you so much. I look forward to implementing that program here on our campus. I also want to thank all of the team members who have written and submitted our Anna Peasy grant, our HSI Title V, and our STEM grant, and Nick, I think I saw Nick Armand, who's working on a grant to the Department of Labor. Thank you so much, everybody on those teams. I really appreciate you. While grants are important and help us bolster our programming to support our students, innovation often comes from within. And one case in point is the new Fullerton College STEM Center. The center will provide a needed space for STEM students to work together while building community here at FC. Many of our STEM students are missing that sense of belonging that is especially important for our Black, Latinx, APITA, and Native American students. The center is expected to open in the spring or summer of 2024. Thank you so much to all our STEM faculty. I also would like to take this time to thank our Office of Campus Communications, which recently launched a new virtual tour of campus that includes a 3D map, 360-degree photography of key locations on campus, and wayfinding integrated with Google Maps. It's the new industry standard for college wayfinding, and it's fully integrated with our Fullerton College mobile app. Let's give it up for our Office of Campus Communications. And I'd also like to take this time to thank Lisa McFerrin for her leadership over the past 9 years and to congratulate her and wish her well as she ventures off to her new role at Cal State Fullerton. Everyone. Thank you, Lisa, for leaving this gift for us of this tour. We have champions on the court and in our classrooms at Fullerton College. Our men's basketball team clinched the state championship. Catherine Lee is our state champion golfer, and our speech and debate team won the top spot for community colleges at the 2023 National Forensics Association Championship. Let's give a round of applause. Due to the leadership and work of our English faculty and our administrators, everyone who works in placement, Fullerton College was also named a 2023 champion for excelling in equitable course placement by the Campaign for College Opportunity. Let's give it up for everyone involved. Enrollment recovery continues to be a top priority at the college, and I'm so impressed that this has been embraced by teams across Fullerton. Thousands of recent high school seniors visited the campus this summer for in-person support through Promise and outreach programs. We have more than 700 of our students who left us during the pandemic who have re-enrolled after responding to our targeted marketing efforts on social media. And regular efforts have been made to follow up with our students who missed their registration appointments. Our Welcome Center is extremely busy, especially in the past 2 weeks. And I'd like to thank Eli Herbert and all of our team who's been helping our students in the Welcome Center. Let's give them a round of applause. These are just pieces of the greater puzzle to find and retain our amazing students. Our academic deans and faculty have created flexible offerings to meet the demands of in-person and online education. We're seeing some positive results from these efforts. So far, for fall, the college is offering about 55% of our classes fully in person, and 45% are in online or hybrid formats. And as of August 15th, duplicated enrollments are up around 2%, and the number of FTES students are up around 3%. At this rate, our college should expect around 18,400 students for fall term by the time late start classes hit census day. Although Jose Ramon reminded me yesterday that our dual enrollment student data will go in a week or so, and our numbers should come up higher. Because I said, we need to get higher, right? We are not only flexible to meet student needs, through consultation with our labor groups, our institution has become one of the few California community college districts in the state to formally adopt a hybrid work option. In every crisis, there is an opportunity to learn and grow. With COVID, we learned many people could work from home, and now we should give them that option. It is now my honor to introduce a mentor and somebody whom I respect as a tremendous leader, and I consider a friend. Dr. Regina Standback Stroud is our Fall 2023 keynote speaker. Today, we will be introduced to her wealth of knowledge about student equity and diversity. And we will have opportunities later in the semester to welcome her back for workshops where we can dig in deeper into the practices that better serve our students. Dr. Standback Stroud is an anti-racist activist and committed practitioner facilitating racial and equity literacy development. She's dedicated 35 years of her life's work to being a higher education leader and educator, including her service as, are you ready for it? Chancellor, President, Vice President, Dean, faculty member, and nurse. Yes. Joe Carruthers came up to me earlier today and said, did you have anything to do with selecting the keynote? I said, yes, I did, yes. I invited her, yes. And he said, I remember her when she was the statewide academic senate president for the California community colleges. And guess what? Dr. Standback Stroud worked right here in Orange County at, I think, Santa Ana College and Rancho Santiago. Having retired from higher education, she is now the founder and CEO of Regina Standback Stroud Consulting, RSSC. In addition, Dr. Standback Stroud served President Barack Obama on his President's Advisory Council on Financial Capability for Young Americans. Her work in equity and leadership is recognized by the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges statewide Regina Standback Stroud Diversity Award, and the Western Regional Council on Black American Affairs Dr. Regina Standback Stroud Leadership Achievement Award. She holds a doctorate and master's degree in educational leadership from Mills College, a master's degree in human relations from Golden Gate University, and a Bachelor of Science in Nursing Sciences from Howard University. Please help me welcome Dr. Regina Standback-Stroud.
Okay, good morning, Fullerton College. Oh, you know how Whoopi Goldberg said when she did that stand-up where she said, whoa, hold it, wait a minute, this is not Dreamgirls, right? So you like participate. So good morning, Fullerton College. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It is great to be here. I first want to start off just thanking Dr. Levo, one, for the kind words, two, for inviting me to be a part of your opening day. As she said, I spent 35 years in higher education, and most of that time has been as an executive, CEO level, vice president of academic affairs, president, chancellor. And so I've had lots of these opening days. And then when I retired, I got up on around, August the 14th or so and, didn't know what to do. I didn't have to worry about the stage. I wasn't planning any speakers. I didn't know where to put myself. So the fact that I get to be here and share this with you is an honor for me. The second thing is you guys really didn't need a keynote speaker. You got Nicole. I want to be like her when I grow up. So let me tell you what I saw. I saw someone who connected the message and the vision that was articulated by the president and the chancellor to the reality of working with the students every day. She did an outstanding analysis of what it means to show up here and be focused on something bigger than ourselves, to be focused on the students and the communities that you serve. She put a little bit of humor in there where, I really liked a lot of possibilities, I didn't want her to quit her day job when she told the choo-choo joke, And she did what we say at RSSC. She showed up differently. She showed up differently. So kudos to Nicole. But I saw more. I saw your chancellor lay out the vision and the strategy. I saw your board member make the commitment and understand that, look, these are the commitments we make to the community, and this is what we want to be held accountable for. I heard the Academic Senate president really demonstrate to you how we bring all of ourselves and how the richness of what we bring, from our homes, our culture, our scholarship, our experiences, impacts students' ability to get in, get through, and get out on time. So I heard lots of different things here at Fullerton College that I can see are the foundation upon which you work. So thank you for that. The theme of your work this year is a place of possibilities. And I'm reminded of, that's grounded on Paulo Freire's work, and Bell Hooks did a lot of focus of her scholarship on Freire's work, or education as a practice of freedom. And I happen to be one of those people where you cannot do a spoiler alert. I'm one of those people that I need to know when I start watching the movie, yeah, but did he die in the end? So that I can know how to watch the movie. I need to know what I'm looking for. I need to be, know what to interrogate. I live in a household with my wife who is exactly the opposite. So, we navigate some rough waters over there sometimes. So, the way I work it out is, a lot of the things that we watch, I've seen it before because I know what's going to happen, Like I watched Born Identity again. Anybody want to know? By the way, I've been in love with Matt Damon for a long time, so. All right, so I watched Born Identity again, and I slipped up last night. I said, oh, he gonna tell her, I'm looking at you, you look tired. She looked at me. And then, of course, that's exactly what he said. So when I picked up Bell Hooks' book, I turned to the last page, because that's how I read, by the way. And she says, the academy is not a paradise. Now, that's true. Anybody who's navigated our educational institutions knows that, particularly for students of color. But learning is a place where paradise can be created. The classroom, with all of its limitations, remains a location of possibility. In that field of possibility, we have the opportunity to labor for freedom, to demand of ourselves and our comrades an openness of mind and heart that allows us to face a reality, even as we collectively imagine ways to move beyond the boundaries to transgress. This is education as a practice of freedom. Now that's powerful, and I want you to sit with that. Because long before I read Paulo Freire and long before I read Bell Hooks, and a lot of my work and scholarship is based on Bell Hooks. As a matter of fact, one of the few leadership theories that you will read that is focused on and situated in the intersectionalities is a theory that I developed through my scholarship, and borrowing is called Leading to Transgress. But long before all of that scholarship and all of that formal education, my mother, who was not formally educated, but was one of the wisest people I knew, taught me about the transformative potential of education. She taught me about education as a liberatory practice. Now, I'm an old black woman from the segregated South. What that means is I got an opinion about everything. Everything, just ask me, all right? I got an opinion about everything. But it also means that I've seen the world through different lenses. I have a lived experience I have the lived experience of this nation's ideological perspectives and values that were not, as my son would say, yeah, Mom, but wasn't that a long time ago? But that are today years old. There are debates and narratives we're still having. So the challenges of the dominant power structures are real. And my mother said to me, Gina, you get an education. Okay, so she was a little chauvinist. The first thing she would say is, so first you don't have to be with no man you don't want to be. Okay. But the bigger message was, you get an education because they can take everything away from you. She's talking about the dominant power structure. But they cannot take this. That is education as a practice of freedom. That is the creation of the place of possibilities. That is what Jeanette referred to as, what did she say? Cada cabeza es el mundo, un mundo? Like every head is a world. I know I messed that up. Solo sé unas cuantas palabras en español, me falta práctica, lo siento. Lo siento. Si habla muy despacio, yo puedo entiendo, pero si habla muy rápido, no entiendo, no importa. So, I just said I only know a few words of Spanish, and I know I need practice, but if you talk really slow, I can understand some things, but if you talk really fast, I can't understand beans. So... Okay, so thank you so much, and thank you for letting me situate and ground this discussion or this narrative with you. And the other thing I need to do is I need to thank Marcus, because Marcus saw us get out of the Uber. And when we were getting out of Uber, first of all, we landed, and it's much like students probably experience. We landed, it's a beautiful campus. It looks like it's a city block wide. We have no idea where we're supposed to go. We're trying to figure out the map. And Marcus said, we said, can you tell us where the dining hall is? And He said, I'll walk you there. He was in the middle of a nice little party with another colleague, and, they split up and took care of us and walked us and got us over there. Immediately when we got there, we got a handoff. I think it was Lila that said, oh, you want to go over here. And then once we did that, we went over to the dining hall, and this person after person after person was receiving and receptive, was kind, and we felt immediately welcomed. And if that is the experience that your students have, I don't know if it was my really bright colored dress or, it could have been, but if that is the experience that your students have, then kudos to Fullerton College. And so as I stand here today, I know that it might look like that, I make this really easy, but the truth is there are a lot of folks around me that help me support you. And so I want to introduce the team of people. Uh-oh. I know. Okay, okay. I'll get to that part. Okay, I want to introduce the team of people that helped make this possible. And you just saw one who said, look, go ahead and finish the speech. They can, think out loud later. That was Saida Stroud. Saida Stroud is a community college success story. She's been working with us. She comes from the community colleges. She's been a faculty member in business. She also served as a classified professional supervisor running the Entrepreneur Center. And part of her story that she allows me to tell is that it took her 15 years to get through community college because of the math requirement. 15 years. Through persistence, she stayed, and then it just took her another 2 years to get her bachelor's degree and then another year to get her master's degree. So the biggest obstacle to her higher education was navigating stuff I say we make up, right, in the community colleges. Another community college success story is Mr. Brandon Christian. He is our Director of Communications and Operations, and between Brandon and Saida, they make things go smoothly so that I can stand up before you today. So this is a team, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is I know that the keynote usually features the person. However, the reality is it takes all of us. And that's the message that I want to give to you as well. And particularly in the community colleges, is because of the structure of higher education. There are normal and natural tensions. There are hierarchies between constituencies. And there are all of the things that we deal with that are really about ourselves. And so my typical message, and it took me a while to get to this. I mean, I haven't quite gotten over myself, but we have to get over ourselves and think about something bigger than ourselves. And we have to recognize that it takes all of us to educate a student. It takes all of us. And none of us is any more important or less important than the other. Not by people, not by individuals, not by races, classes, not by constituencies, none of us. It takes the entire village to educate a student. And this is my tribe. Now, just about almost 4 years ago, many of us were in our colleges. We were doing our business as usual, and then we were told to go home and shelter in place because of this virus. And there was a worldwide pandemic that would forever change us. And if we were being honest about it, we thought we were going home for a long weekend. And as a matter of fact, I was like, yeah, we can do this. Got home, put up the umbrella in the patio, had coffee out. When I did my little Zoom meeting, I was outside on the patio. But then it went on and on and on. I hadn't seen my granddaughter for about 3 months, and I was like, this is not working for me. Okay, I don't care if we have to buy hazmat suits, which is precisely what I did. Bought some hazmat suits, went over to see my grandchild. But in the meantime, it means that we all had to adjust, and our worlds changed. I just described something where I had the resources to mitigate the problem that I was having. You have students that don't necessarily have those resources. Some of you don't have those resources. And so what the pandemic did was it was exaggerate and show and bring out the disparities and the gaps, the challenges that we have. I mean, now we're back, and I have had to adjust. I mean, like for an example, I wear shoes again, you know? That was a struggle, okay? You mean, you mean I got to put on shoes, But aside from those, and all of my struggles are first world struggles, it laid bare the impact of our systems and our structures that create the inequity in our society. And it's just about every societal institution. It could be, our criminal justice system. It could be our financial system. It could be our political systems. It could be just about any societal institution. And the academy is not exempt from that. And I'm describing to you systems that are set up to create inequity, to maintain and create inequity for the benefit of a group of people, and that group of people is for the perpetuation and the maintenance of white supremacy in society. So y'all like, wait a minute, Regina, we ain't had our coffee yet. That's heavy, So we're going to have some conversations about that, and we are going to say some things that won't be comfortable, but it's through that discomfort that we work, that we make progress, and we have unique challenges, but we're practiced at Fullerton College in meeting some of those challenges. So what that means is this is your moment. This is your moment to dream about what the place of possibility is, what it means to have education as a practice of freedom. This is your moment to perfect yourself in the mission and the commitment that you make to the public. And you said to the public, give us your precious few resources. Give us your people who want to get an education. Give us your precious tax dollars. Give us the people who want to be able to get better jobs. Give us people who want to get ready to be able to go to college. We say to the public, give us that, and this is the commitment that we will make. This is the mission that we will meet. These are the values that we hold. These are the goals that we will accomplish. And so what you want to say to yourselves is, and so how do we hold ourselves responsible and accountable? How do we hold each other responsible and accountable for doing what we promised to the public? Because long before there was a health pandemic in these United States, in the context of our geopolitical, social context or history, we endure on a daily basis an unrelenting and unforgiving pandemic of racism. And let me just tell you something. Regardless of who you are and where you sit, regardless of what race you identify with, because race is just a social construct, but that's a different workshop, a different conversation. It is whether you are black, whether you are white, whether you identify as someone that is identified as brown, yellow, red, regardless of where you are in the social construct of race. There is a hierarchization that we didn't invent, but that was invented long, long before us, and that has embedded and been embedded and codified in all that we do have. It was the basis and the foundation of the Constitution of the creation of this nation. And it is one that engulfs most of our societal systems. It is unforgiving, and let me say this, regardless of where you are, it is physiologically and psychologically exhausting. And that's for those of us who are equipped with tools. Some of us, have more tools than others, and those who have resources to navigate that. So think about our students. Think about our students. So it's particularly vitriolic, though, because it has the amazing characteristic of being so normal. It's like the air we breathe. It's so normal that we regularly challenge whether it even exists. And we say, mild things like, you playing a race card as, first of all, you need to understand the historical nature of that and where that came from. But that's another conversation. But when we do so, we're ignoring the complex, interlocking systems that create these outcomes and experiences that can be predicted by race. So yes, even in the California Community College, the system that educates the most where most of the people of color who are in higher education are in California community colleges. The system that was designed so that education would be preserved for the elite, but that so that everybody who had the ability to benefit would be able to benefit from a higher education. Even in the California community colleges, we have lots of work to do in order to accomplish what we want to accomplish. Now look, I just want to say this. None of us are as racially literate or culturally fluent as we want to be. I have a terminal degree in critical race theory, and I get it wrong, and we are going to get it wrong. We are not sophisticated in these United States in talking about race or even dealing with race or addressing race. We are navigating race. We are not sophisticated. So we have to give ourselves permission to be imperfect. Understand that people come from a perspective of wanting to get it right. Now, there is some willed ignorance, and there quite frankly is, some individual personal, racism. But the reality is that the individual racism is not the issue. What you think about me is not my business. If you don't like black people, okay, right? What I care about is whether you manage the political system that makes a decision about whether I can get a house, get a mortgage, whether I can be employed, whether I have to worry about whether my son, if he gets stopped for a traffic violation, whether he will walk away or whether I will have to bury him. That's what I care about. What your uncle thinks at the Thanksgiving table, y'all work that out. Okay, right? Okay, so we have to figure out how to be more sophisticated. It means that we have to be willing to make ourselves smarter around it. And we have to be willing to engage. This is not a spectator sport. You want to be a place of possibility, you have to be willing to engage with the topic, with the narrative. You have to be willing to interrogate. You have to be willing to present the counter-narrative. You have to be able to tolerate multiple perspectives. I know when I used to be state senate president, after I was state senate president, I told them, I said, I'm working on my ability to respect that not everybody agrees with me and that people think differently than I do. And then under my breath, I would say, no matter how wrong they are. So if this is your moment and you want to interrogate the status quo and you want to address the normalization of inequity, because it is normalized. If I were to say to you right now that there is an equity gap and white students are woefully underperforming compared to black and Latinx students. They are not transferring at the same rate. They are not graduating. They don't have the same student success rates. If I were to say, this is what the data is saying, you would say, most institutions would say, wait a minute, call IT. There is something wrong with our database. Something is wrong. This can't be. That's impossible. In other words, it's not normal. It would be a state of an emergency. The chancellor's office would have all kinds of statewide tools and technology for you to be able to get it right all across the state. There would be a whole initiative. There'd be all kinds of money put out for you to fix your data, etc. And then, because we would assume, we would say, this ain't right. This ain't it. Ain't, A-I-N-T. Okay? This ain't it. But you get that message every day, all day, with just about every report you have, and there is not a community college, there's not a university in this nation that I can't tell you your data and predict it by race. And we go on as business as usual. And not only do we go on as business as usual, we tell ourselves how great we are. We tell ourselves how phenomenal we are. And so we have to be a place of possibility, you have to disrupt that. You have to interrogate that. You have to ensure that our systems don't replicate and perpetuate the very inequity we think we are working on in education. So I want to talk about inequity a little bit. I'm a groupie of Dr. Paul Gorski. He runs the Racial Literacy Institute, and I appreciate his scholarship. He basically says that when you think about equity, you have to think about what inequity is. And inequity is an unfair distribution of material and non-material access and opportunities resulting in outcomes and experiences and differences that are predictable by race or dimensions of other identity. And when we think, so inequity is not about who got what allocation necessarily, who just got how much money you putting in pointy, but you're putting it in emotion, you know, that kind of stuff. Inequity is about material and non-material resources. Can students look up and have access to people who understand their lived experiences without them having to explain those lived experiences? Can they have access to people who have assumptions about their talents, who see their talents as strengths, not deficits, who understand the cultural wealth that they bring to the institution and how they impact the institution's educational and intellectual rigor by their presence? That's non-material access. And many students don't have that if you're students of color in our institutions. And so you have to reconceptualize when you think about that gap. The question is not, why are black and brown students not performing? The question is, why are we so consistently unsuccessful and unable to teach black and brown students? See, it's a reconceptualization of that question. We know we can teach. We know we can serve. We know how to lead as administrators for white students because we do it so well, right? But why are we consistently unsuccessful with black and brown students? That's when you interrogate that question, the question is not about what's wrong with you. It's a research question that you engage in. Much like if you ask yourself that question when you're doing program review, when you're doing your unit reviews, when you're doing your planning, when you're looking at your data, when you're doing your student equity plan, when you're doing all of those different things, when you're doing your curriculum, your pedagogical approaches, when you're doing all of those different types of things, including your practices, processes, procedures, and policies on what you have to do in order to get the financial aid. You know, all of those things allow us to reconceptualize the questions in order to address inequity. Because we do have an educational system that is founded on a racialized and classist society. It was designed to ensure a certain social order and to maintain that inequity. You know, it was at a time when it was okay to think that way and be that way. Many of the people who have, you know, tremendous influence, you know, Kant, Brigham Baum, the father of the SATs, those people proudly displayed on their vitas that they were members and officers of the American Eugenics Society. That was at a time when it wasn't shameful to have that perspective. And if we're not careful, it's getting to be a time when it's not shameful to have that perspective. But what we have is you have the underlying ideology that the institution is built on, and so we have to impact those structures. And part of that impact is around students having access to a diverse faculty. Now, we know that students do better with a diverse faculty, and that is all students. Students who identify as white, students who identify as students of color. We know they do well with a diverse faculty. We say that we're student-focused. We say that we're evidence-based. We understand that the evidence says they do better, and this is based on our research. This is a seminal piece of research. It's about you know, more than 10 years old, and Farley and et al. Were doing the research out of De Anza, I think. And they found the success of students with this research with diverse faculty. And even with that evidence, I took a look at Fullerton College. And again, this is another one that I can predict just about for every community college in the system. And while you serve communities that are overwhelmingly minoritized communities, the faculty are overwhelmingly white. Your pipeline of faculty are overwhelmingly white. Now, it's not a bad thing to have white faculty, just so y'all don't run me out of Fullerton, okay? It's not a bad thing. But it is a good thing to have a diversity of perspectives, lived experiences, backgrounds, beliefs, histories, languages, and religions. In other words, identities of intersectionality, in order to have the intellectual rigor, in order to impact the learning environment and the campus culture and the campus climate, and in order to get the results that the research and the evidence shows that it supports student success. So we have to get smart. You know, we have to have a diverse faculty, but we also have to make sure that all of us develop our equity skills and abilities. That's Paul Gorski, by the way. So you have to be able to recognize inequity. That's the thing where, you know, you come out, after I came out of watching The Lion King and watching, you know, hundreds of little kids get programmed in white supremacy, and I was critiquing it, and somebody said to me, how do you see that? How do you, I mean, now that you say it, I see it, but how do you see it? Like, how do you find something wrong with Lion King? I mean, I'd be careful. I don't want to be DeSantis fighting with Disney, okay? However, Lion King is the epitome of white supremacy, the messages, the inherent messages. So how do you see that? It is the ability to recognize inequity. Well, first of all, I'm practiced. I got lived experience, all right? But it's also based on scholarship. It's based on, it's not based on the content of the melanin in my skin, in other words. You have to be willing to respond to inequity. It's not just that you see it, but you do something about that. You have a response. Now, that's a hard thing, because sometimes I can tell you my response is simply, I cannot believe you said that. You know? You have to be willing to redress it. That means making decisions that might not be the popular decision. Because, you know, we get real nervous about race. We do. We get real nervous. Everything gets all delicate because the priority becomes making sure we can maintain white comfort, right? Well, you know, Regina, you got to go at the pace when everybody can participate, and they won't, if, you know, you're going to lose people, and, you know, those types of things. Let's just, you know. And I even had someone said, we can come in and we can do this with you. And they said, can you tell me, is your team all black? And the first thing I thought is, have they ever asked anybody if your team is all white? Ever, right? And I said, yeah, we're unapologetically black. Okay, we didn't get that job. Okay, so but you have to be able to redress it. We have to actively cultivate equity, and you have to be willing to sustain it. And that comes to the, you know, we attract people, we get a diverse faculty, but we can't keep them here, right? And that's because you have to have climate, and you have to have practices, and you have to have a culture that will retain them, that gives the support, affirmation, and validation that the dominant majority enjoy every day. See my time here. There we go. And you got a nice foundation to build on. You have a president who has an equity-minded leadership and sees, this is the lens through which your president is leading. Now, I'm going to make sure you get a copy of this, because anytime you ask for some money or a budget allocation and stuff, tie it to her vision. Tie it to her leadership. Say, in support of your equity-minded leadership, okay? In other words, you can see different things that you have here. It's a personal and it's an institutional committee. In other words, it's not just the equity dean's job. There is a personal commitment. And so if you are looking at, I don't know, looking at your classroom practices, ask for your data disaggregated by race. Interrogate that to see what is it that you're being successful with and where you're not, what students you're not being successful with. You know, go for the kinds of resources that would support you in making the changes you want to make in order to do that. take a look at who gets your financial aid and who doesn't. There's some real interesting studies about who gets financial aid, and the disproportionate number of students, though the students, white students, make up the minority populations in the institutions. Institution after institution receive the majority of the financial aid allocations, meaning the scholarship allocations. I'm sorry, not Pell, but the scholarship allocation. There's some interesting research all across the system on that. Also, you can see here, and this was even before she came up with the opening day plans, she sees that our institutions can be a place of possibility. In other words, education as a practice of freedom. And you be a major architect of that. All right. That it is about transforming their lives through the educational. And she's not alone, because it's always helpful, you know, if you're building on a foundation. And so your chancellor also is committed to that. And so when you're trying to make sure that Fullerton gets more money than Cypress gets more money, use this. Okay. A little co-opetition between institutions. So your chancellor also has that same commitment. And it is a moral and societal obligation to ensure not only equitable access to higher education for the public, but also to ensure outcomes and experiences. So it's not just enough for people to be able to get in your institutions. Yeah, everybody can get in. We are open admissions institutions, right? But it is about when they get in, what is the evidence going to show in terms of what their experience is going to be, and how likely are they to get out, to get through and get out. So I want to introduce you to a couple of folks. You probably already know them. This is Francisco Chavez. He was a student of yours. He is a student of yours. He graduated. He started off in engineering and then went into illustration. And I had a conversation with him, and I wanted to know, you know, what was important to him. What did Fullerton College get right, and what could Fullerton College do differently? You know, did people have an impact on him? So the first thing he did was he named out the people. He named out people that really made a difference in his life at Fullerton College. You see, he said he became homeless. He was in an abusive situation. He had to get out. He became homeless, and even when he was homeless, he maintained his grades. He got straight A's. He said, but Fullerton is a community college, and so it needs to really be about community. And that his advice is that to help Fullerton College understand that community is found in different places, and if you can't find community at Fullerton College, then make community at Fullerton College. He said Todd Smith was a phenomenal influence on him, and he said that's why he learned that faculty were normal. His words, not mine. He said Anita Juarez, Mike Sheehan, and Jody Balmer all had an influence on him. If it weren't for those types of faculty, he said, well, there was a lot of people there. There was a lot of staff that just, you know, made it possible because I was homeless. He said, but they just made a difference for me. So he really believes in that sense of community, and what community is, what community college should be. He said it shouldn't be divided. He said it's divided among majors. It's divided because amongst, like he said, like, you know, like the jobs they do, like one's a faculty and one's an administrator, and, you know, it's divided. He said, and there needs to be community. Community is what community college should be, was his quote. So when we were having those issues, we think that it doesn't impact the students. This student is telling you that it impacted him. And then there's Elizabeth. And Elizabeth was actually wonderful to talk to because she's studying psychology. And she's been here, she started in 21, and then she had to stop out. And when I interrogated the stopping out, what could Fullerton have done to keep her, she said, well, I had some family things. Well, it turns out she's the primary person that connects with her dad, who's in prison. And he's out, and she's trying to keep him from going back in. And her mom works 2 jobs, so she's the point person, so it's nothing that Fullerton could have done. She said, but, you know, there's a lot of stuff at Fullerton, and, you know, you just don't know about it. Like the rising scholars, she said the faculty were really supportive, but I didn't reach out because I didn't think anybody else had this experience in life. So she spoke of the isolation being here and, you know, having a 1.97 GPA trying to make it all happen. But her GPA is now a 3.0. She got some advice to reach out and get informed. She said, I feel like I belong. She said, I do not have imposter syndrome. She said, I can thrive. It's natural for me. She said, not in the beginning. In the beginning of the first semester, I came in where, you know, I felt like I didn't belong, but I did really great. And I said, well, what would you want people to know? She said, Fullerton College is a hidden gem. There are all kinds of things, but people just don't know. And it can be the bridge where someone can connect their 2 worlds, where you're trying to achieve a better future. And then there was Jackson Henry, not Henry Jackson. You guys know Jackson. Now, I really enjoyed talking to him. He said to me, the main message from him was that culture is important. He said, you know, he's Black and Peruvian, and he said culture is just important. And he, along with the other students, said they didn't have many faculty of color in their life, but he said Umoja was a pivotal moment for him. And he didn't know a lot about the resources, but that connected him to a lot of the different resources. And he talked about his journey and losing track in his academics and stuff. He said, Jody Balmer opened doors. She offered internships and connected him with other Fullerton College alum that was starting a nonprofit. And so I think he started his nonprofit with a group of people, right? And then he said, and I got a chance to do things like actually go into meetings and represent the students and like talk to administrators. And he said, what's unfortunate, these were his words, is that there are a lot of resources, but a lot of people don't know about it. Now, that's not unique to Fullerton College. I can't tell you, I've never been in a community college where we haven't had the conversations about how do we make sure students know about the resources and the services that are available. And I can tell you, as I live and breathe, I didn't know what a college counselor was until I worked for a community college. In other words, I navigated my educational experience at Howard University never knowing about student services. Never knowing. So it's not necessarily something that is uncommon, but interesting to have the students remind us. He's a communications major and philosophy major, communications major and philosophy and film minor, and he's going to Cal Poly now. And those are your students here. He said, yes. Thank you. He said, I told you she'd be like keeping me on track. She's like, I know where you are in these slides and you only got 15 minutes, okay? Yeah, that's what I got here. But maybe he was like, he's at UCLA now. Yay. Yay. No small thing. But those are your students, but here's who's coming. Now, okay, first, in full disclosure, point of personal privilege, okay? It's no good if you're going to be the keynote speaker and you can't show grandbaby pictures, okay? Y'all better recognize, you better take lessons on how you do this. This is Camille. And I'm motivated because I want college to be a place of possibility for her. because she is the student of the future. She's part of the Generation Alpha. Now, I have to say that I have, a professional but a personal interest that we all make ourselves smarter so that we're much more successful as the student of the future comes to us. They are part of what they call Generation Alpha. That means they were born since 2010, and that means the iPad was in existence. That's why you have babies that are in this generation that tried to swipe magazine covers. They tried to swipe it, right? That's real, okay? They are now described as screenagers. It's true. I'm telling you, it's true. In other words, they're the first cohort of people to be born completely in the 21st century. And they think, like, just in case you had it together and because you were a millennial, you old, baby. You know how the millennials and Gen Xers used to think about the boomers that we were old? No, you old, okay? As my son said, I realize I'm in a different demographic now. When that student said, hey, Mr. Stroud, he was like all of 32, he was like. They were born between 2011 and 2015. They are immersed in technology. So get it together. They will learn differently than we learned and than you teach, than you serve. And they are used to excellent user experience. Now, let me just tell you this. I, too, am used to excellent user experience, right? Amazon has ruined me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I may even lose my progressive political credentials in saying this, but I'm just telling you, if I order something from Amazon and it says it's going to arrive today, but it's not going to arrive till 10 p.m., I just ordered it, right? I'm thinking, why it take so long? Oh my God, 10 p.m.? They are probably more inclusive than we've been. And there are contradictions. This is literally the same weekend where she was Princess Peach. Now, we're working on that, some racial consciousness stuff, because, she wants to be Princess Peach. My wife is white, and so she has made the distinction that Nana Linda is peach, and I am black, or brown, she says. So she wants to be Princess Peach. More so, I think that's a love for Mario Brothers, because she's a techie, she's a video gamer. I know at 6, I know. I'm working on that. And in the same weekend, because we have Science Sundays, she is a chemist. Same weekend. Now that is probably Nana Gina living vicariously through her, because I wanted to be a chemist all my life until I went to Howard University and took organic chemistry. That disabused me of that notion right away. They expect top-notch experience. When she said to me she wanted a protein bar the other day, and I was eating a protein bar, but it was not the kind that she could eat. And she said, well, can you get me some that I can eat? And I said, sure, honey, I'll buy you some. And so about 20 minutes later, she said, did you buy my protein bars? It's going to be 10 o'clock tonight, baby, before it gets here. And diversity has an impact. So I introduced her to a faculty member named Dr. Forbes. Dr. Forbes has a PhD in chemistry. And Camille met Dr. Forbes when she was, 3 or something, very young. And then on Science Sunday, when she was doing her chemistry, I called her Camille. And she said, no, I'm not Camille. I'm Dr. Forbes. First of all, she remembered Dr. Forbes' name. I'm like, that shocked me. Because I had to think, who's Dr. Forbes? All right? And so she saw somebody that she could be. Now, sometimes she's Gabby Cat, she's Sonic Boom. She's been a Paw Patrol, okay. She's been Owlette, okay. But I hold on to that one. You see, I'm talking about all of us making these commitments because it affects this generations of students that are here, students who have left us, students who are here, and students who are coming. And so this is an example of some of the commitments. You know, it's just get started. Make some commitments around equity and diversity. Don't hold people of color responsible for your equity literacy, for an example. And people of color, don't think that because of the content of the melanin in your skin that you got it, right? We all have work to do on this. And the main thing is, do not prioritize the dominant comfort over the suffering of students. And that's really the commitment that I really appreciate Gorski makes. Dr. Gorski says, I will not prioritize equity over peace. So we do a lot of tone policing and how you said it, Regina, etc. And then, of course, because I told you I always got an opinion about something, I'm going to suggest some things that you do. First of all, start looking at your data through an equity lens. Disaggregate your data. If you talk about how great your student success rates are and how great your transfer rates are, disaggregate it. And then tell me how great they are. Okay? How are your students coming out? Who's staying? Who's going? What's the persistence? What's the retention, etc. Work in multiple domains. It's about climate. It's about communication. It's about hiring. So what for Fullerton College? Make it okay for people to be imperfect so you can have these conversations. Offer personal support when you see people are up against a struggle. Create space for people to be able to share things and get support. Name it. In communication, you know, if you take a look and particularly look at the way in which your African American students are being served and the experiences they have at Fullerton College, and you have some work to do, then name it. That is in the context of anti-Blackness, whether you mean for it to be or not, whether it is intentional or not. But the reality is that whether through intent or benign neglect, the effect is the same. So name it. Speak openly about it. Speak openly about white privilege. And white privilege is about the privilege of race, not that you didn't have a hard time and we were poor and we grew up and stuff. That's not it. It is about the privilege of what is assigned to race and the assumptions that take place, and then the results of those assumptions as to who gets the mortgage, who gets the loan, who gets the job. Okay, and your evidence shows that. Your evidence shows that we all have implicit biases. I had to take that implicit bias test a lot of time because it kept coming out that I preferred white people. And I was like, that can't be, you know, I'm Regina Stenbeck Stroud Diversity Award. You know, I had to take it a lot of times. Okay. Look at your hiring, look at your diversity, make sure that you lead through an equity lens, and then quite frankly, in my role in leadership, I met with the screening committees and I said, these are the lens through which I make the decisions. You know, I disabused them the notion you don't serve on hiring committees because you don't hire a single person. You do screening. So the screening committee, if they look at it through the lens of making sure that we get candidates that would make wonderful faculty and staff at Fullerton College, right? And then I let them know these are the kind of candidates that are likely to be successful at the next level. So I try to demystify the next level. Okay. And I just share this because I know that, you know, when you do a little bit further work, you can look at the work that you're doing around Black students. And there actually is a framework that J. Luke Wood and in his scholarship developed. And I've had an opportunity to present with him on this. And these are some of the things that he talks about, particularly related to the Black students' experience. And we'll make sure that you have access. As a matter of fact, your team has this slide, so you're welcome to it. And I encourage you to do a little bit more research on the J. Luke Wood's anti-Blackness framework. Okay, and then there's work for the, did I miss one? Yeah. There's work for the board. It takes all of us, remember I said? It's all of us. So I basically asked board of trustees, and these are things you can ask of your board and your president can ask of the board, is to create an equity-minded board at the institution. Review the policies and processes through an equity lens. Monitor and evaluate the college's progress on their equity goals and annually evaluate themselves and their leadership on equity goals. Be curious, okay? Have you prioritized equity? Does the diversity of the faculty, staff, and administration reflect the diversity of the students of the college? Does the board receive and monitor annual DEI reports? Do the board and the college provide the campus and the community evidence of achieving its diversity? Now, the evidence of achieving diversity is one of the things I just want to talk about. The evidence of achieving diversity, particularly in the state of California, we have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in diversifying the faculty. And over the past 20 years, the needle moved 1%. 1%. So we have work to do. I got it, thank you. We have work to do with regard to actually accomplishing what we say we were going to accomplish here. Develop the board policies, get the training, make ourselves smart, do diversity, equity training. And there were some conversations about, wait a minute, do we have to do all this DEI? What about the Supreme Court, decision? The reality is non-discrimination, equity, et cetera, is still the law of the land. And in California, the regulations and the legislation require diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, there's some faculty at Madera and Reedley College that are actually suing the state of California's chancellor's office because they feel like they shouldn't have to do all this equity stuff. So we'll see what happens. That's just the climate that's there. Become an anti-racist institution. Develop a comprehensive DEI framework. Okay, collect and share and access those diversity resources. Invest in diversity, racial and equity literacy. Audit your policies and processes. Audit your policies and processes for structural racism and disaggregate and consume your data by race. And then pay attention to your culture and to your climate. What is it like for people to be here? And that's one of the things where I commonly say, there's a little exercise that I do where I tell people to close their eyes and imagine the kind of validation that they get, the affirmation that they get, the environment that they're in, because then you can appreciate what it might be. And as a matter of fact, I think that I'll close with having you do that. So I want you to close your eyes, and we've done this with some of your workshops because I've had an opportunity to work with your different teams here. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that you're in a place where your race and your culture is affirmed, where you receive the support and the benefit for your well-being, where you have an advantage for access to housing, finance, employment, where you are defined and the characteristics are defined as a standard of beauty, success, and excellence, where the hair that grows out of your head is considered professional, is not considered unprofessional, where you're comfortable racially 24/7, where you're taught from the first day of your schooling of the superior contributions of your people to literature, science, technology, philosophy, fine arts. Your language is romantic and your literature is superior, and it defines you and your people as the majority, when in reality, 9/10 of the people of the world are people of color. It defines you and all that you represent as the definition of goodness, virtuosity, integrity, and industry, and that all that are not you represent the opposite and are by definition bad, without principle, and lazy and dishonest. If that's the message that you get from cradle to grave, from your family, from your homogeneous neighborhoods, the educational system, from your homogeneous workplace, from the media, the places you study, play, live, love, marry, and even die, then how would you know or understand it to be different? It's not something that's intentional, it's the way in which we are socialized. And unless we have spent, as Robin DiAngelo says, unless you've spent years of scholarship in service of racial literacy, then none of us are as sophisticated or as fluent as we want to be. And there is nothing in the dominant culture that gives you the information you will need to have an informed opinion on one of the most complex, nuanced social dilemmas for the last several hundred years. So take a look, see where you are on the scale of engagement. And it's not linear. We are a lot of times in different places. And when I say see where you are, I mean see where your institution is. When we say that we're equity-minded, are we still in the silent where, I call it the can't we all just get along phase, everybody, kind of the colorblind ideology? Or are we in the symbolic, celebratory, fun, fair, food, fashion, Or is there a little bit more equity consciousness and we have projects? Or is the institution starting to be changed? The hiring processes are changed. Or is it part of an overarching comprehensive diversity framework? All of that you get to look at as you consider what do you need? How do you realize the dream, the reality, and the goal of being a place of possibilities? Fullerton College, this is not new for you. You are practice. You have tremendous successes. And the main thing is that you have people who are very committed and want students to be successful and want to be successful in serving the community. So Fullerton College, you are a place of possibility, and all of you are instrumental in realizing that dream. Thank you. Okay, of course.
Let's give another round of applause to Dr. Regina Stanbeck-Stroud. Your words are so inspirational, and I look forward to how we can put what you shared into practice. As we wind down Convocation, I encourage you to follow the college on social media and visit the Fullerton College News Center to learn about many exciting events planned this fall, including our Sherbet Football Classic, the Cruz Reynoso Building Dedication, our Men of Color program launch, and Cruisin' for College, our first car show. Yes. We also have a series of activities to celebrate my investiture to Fullerton College with the theme of Elevating Equity, which will occur the last week of September. I'm excited to welcome Dr. Darla Cooper that week, who will conduct a presentation sharing with us our data from our Black Student Success Tipping Point study, as well as Fiona Ma, our state treasurer, who will be here the Wednesday of that week. And I'm also thrilled to share that Dolores Huerta will speak at my investiture on Friday, September 29th, and I hope to see you all there. In closing, I'd like for all of us to give a round of applause to our facilities and M&O team for making our campus look so beautiful and amazing. Also, thank you to ATS for getting us all prepared and ready for the fall. Thank you so much, everyone who worked hard this summer to get us ready for this term. I also want to thank our Fullerton College Theater and Operations team, who not only prepared this lovely stage, but are also running our live stream on YouTube. And a special thank you as well, again, to the Office of Campus Communication. Let's give them a round of applause. I am so excited to work on all of these opportunities that we have to continue to make Fullerton College the place of possibility, where education is the practice of freedom. Thank you so much again to Nicole, Jeanette. Thank you so much, Dr. Regina Standback-Stroud. All of our guests today, our chancellor. This is going to be a great year. Go Hornets! Regina, would you like some water?